What's up guys, this is Sapphire and I'm bringing you another exciting replay from the PSI Storm finals. Now, last game, game 1 of this best of 3 between Legionnaire, the yellow Protoss, and Soft, the red Zerg, was absolutely crazy. Wasn't expecting Soft to go for a double gas cancel all-in 12 worker rush against Legionnaire. Now, I was trying to talk about these players a little bit in the opening phase of the game, which is usually when it's a little bit quieter and you can sort of analyze the build orders as well as talking about the history of the players. But no, it was all thrown awry because Soft went for the 12 worker all in. Don't know what to expect from him this game. But this is Legionnaire. This is one of the most famous Starcraft players in all of Australia. And he didn't commit to Starcraft 2 that much in beta. He was kind of in a lot of ways like Rhett, like a very famous Brood War player, but didn't play the beta that much, but now is getting back into it. So Legionnaire, it has been pulling off quite a few victories though in a lot of Australian events, and he's been doing really well lately, so I'm really excited about this. Now, the PSI Storm tournament, for those of you who don't know, was held over, there was 4 weeks of qualifiers, and every weekend there was a qualifying event with hundreds of players, and they played down to 32 that qualified for the finals, and the finals are best of 3. Bit of a mistake there by Legionnaire, pulling off all of his workers, maybe a little bit jittery from the last game, and a little bit determined to make sure that there's not a huge amount of workers storming into his base. And you'll notice that he's not even choosing to wall off here. He's built his pylon and gateway very close into the base, doesn't want to lose any seconds running out to put buildings out at his ramp, so just being a little bit cautious, and I can't blame him after being worker rushed. So who knows what to expect from Soft, whereas from Soft it does look a little bit more standard, opening with 14 hatch, saving up for that pool, not going 14 hatch into gas, which is super risky. He's actually going to get the pool first and then the gas, which is a little bit more standard. But this is Soft, and I don't know too much about him. I know he used to play on Icy Cup back in Brood War days, so really interested to find out what a standard game from him looks like, because now I know what a failed worker rush against Legionnaire looks like. So really going to be an interesting one here, and whether or not Legionnaire will be a little bit thrown off his game from that, but he held it, so maybe he's feeling more confident. And now he's throwing down that forward pylon, opening up a few more options. Got that gas coming online finally, and just working on his economy right now. And we do see Soft starting to get his gas production going, with Legionnaire just being a little bit cheeky with his own probe right there. But this particular tournament is one of the biggest tournaments our region has ever seen. Southeast Asia has never seen a tournament this big, apart from the BlizzCon tournament, which was quite big. But that was Blizzard organising just basically to find out who in the region was going to qualify for the Blizzard tournament. But this tournament had 4 weeks of qualifiers. There's $5,000 in prize money. First place is $1,750, and for the first time I can say it's a tournament that's actually in Australian dollar prize money, not US dollar prize money. Feels pretty good to say that. So really interested in this match. And Legionnaire, I haven't seen that much of lately. I know he did well in a lot of tournaments, but I've been unfortunately not casting for a week and a half. So the very latest in the weeklies, I'm not sure how he's been doing. I know he became very, very active about 3.5 weeks into release. He missed that initial bubble a bit, but then became super, super active and played quite a lot. As we do see this Zealot just trying to do a little bit of initial foray into Soft space. These Zerglings are pretty much going to tonight. Legionnaire's forced to pull these other units back. A second Zealot coming in to join here. He's trying to work some units across here, but I think Soft's going to be just fine. This is a little bit of a delayed opening here from Legionnaire. It's a little bit too late to send these Zealots in. As this round comes off, pretty nice round. First Zealot's going to be picked off. Second Zealot, probably not going to make it, especially with speed about 7%, realizing that all he can do is just try and get a few hits off on these Zerglings, which is all that he manages right there. But right now, just continuing with his normal game, not too devastating of a loss there for Legionnaire, unless he does not get a Zealot in there, because it looks like Soft, who has Zergling speed very, very close, around 90% right now, is running for the hills, and he's looking like he's going to try and storm straight in. Though this nice positioning of the Stalker, picking off one of the stray Zerglings right now, but there is no Zealot in position to stop this run by. The Stalker needs to fill the gap. It's going to be a race, and no, the Zergling's going to slip by. Unfortunately for Legionnaire, he's just trying to dance his Stalker back and forth right now, but these Zerglings with that speed upgrade is going to be too much. Now this is a bad situation for Legionnaire right now. He cannot let this pylon go offline. He's got basically nothing right here. We are seeing a ton of Zerglings being produced for Soft, who realizes the strength of his position. More Zerglings streaming in. Gateway comes offline. That Zealot production is over until this secondary pylon comes online. One more Zealot comes online. Soft now working on this building. He's going to take his gateway offline again. Looking like this Zealot won't come out. We're going to have a Stalker coming out, but against this many Zerglings and more on the way, Legionnaire might actually go down here. Getting a little bit possibly overconfident after holding that all-in worker rush. We're seeing that nice positioning wall pay off for Legionnaire right now as he's able to put this Stalker in a nice position to just do so much damage. But the pylon walls go down. Finally, the Zergling's able to penetrate there, and the probe's desperately going to work. Nice defensive micro from Legionnaire. Stalker finally goes down, working on a bunch of these Zerglings, but there's so many Zerglings in the base right now. Bailings being produced as well, and we're just seeing all these Bailings on the right-hand side here. Past photon cannon coming up in Legionnaire's probe line. These Bailings going to come to work on these probes that are trying. Oh, unfortunately for Legionnaire, it's just too much pressure too early on. So that little bit of a risky attack there with those Zealots basically proves his undoing as a nice counter from Soft, and unfortunately he wasn't able to close the gap in time for this retaliation, especially with speed coming online. So a little bit more standard there from Soft, making the Protoss pay for an early Zealot rush, and considering the opening Legionnaire suffered in Game 1, I don't blame him for trying it. So now we go to Game 3, best of 3, and remember this is the upper bracket, so if you lose here they go to a lower bracket. It's double elimination, which means you have to be eliminated from the best of 3 twice. So really excited to find out what we're going to see in game number 3.